Good morning. Today we're going to be looking at media and the mind, or more specifically, your mind. We're going to start with the brain. If we had to think about each and every single step in a process, like buttoning a top or putting on a pair of pants, we'd never get out of the house in the morning. Schemas. Schemas are a way the brain understands the task, the desired outcome, and the strategy to get to that outcome. Any routine that you complete has a schema.
So today we're going to practice tying our shoelaces. What I want you to do first is take your shoe off and place it in front of you like this. So it's like as if you're putting it on your foot, but we're going to practice it first so you know the steps before you put the shoe on. So first thing I want you to do is open out your laces so one is on either side. You're going to come in underneath your laces and you're going to pinch it with your thumb on the top, nice and close to the shoe. So not down here at the end, nice and close to the shoe. Once you're pinching there, what I want you to do is pull out so your laces are nice and tight.
News gathering. If you grab your phone as soon as you wake up in the morning looking for updates, your brain has created a schema. Schemas are fabulous for brushing your teeth, opening a door, or tying your shoelaces. Schemas are not so effective when you're trying to parse or break down into manageable parts for understanding complex or new information. Our brains love, love, love shortcuts. Shortcuts, however, are not ideal when you're trying to navigate complex media terrain. Our brains are wonderful but mysterious organs. We can remember with crystal clarity some things. For example, we can remember our 17th birthday or 7th birthday party like it was yesterday, but ask me what I had for lunch yesterday, I'm going to draw a blank. I can remember the lyric to a complex rap, but can't remember where I left my keys. I can crawl into bed exhausted, convinced that I'll be asleep before my head hits the pillow, but my brain decides that it wants to play the highlight reel of every stupid thing I've done since I was in grade 9. My mind has an amazing ability to make a complete image from incomplete data, and this ability is called the law of closure. When we use the law of closure, our brains are not being objective, seeing only the facts, but our brains call on our prior knowledge and life experience. That's why people perceive the same event differently. A headline about murdered rapper Tupac Shakur releasing a new album requires that your brain uses its prior knowledge and experience to know who Tupac Shakur is, when and how he was murdered, and why a new album is worth a headline. It's kind of the same thing that happens when Google gives you predictive text results when you type in some words or even just a few characters, but we'll save that explanation for a later lesson. Our inbuilt desire to complete an image from just a few pieces of information allows us to see a Dalmatian running above, but it also makes us really susceptible to misinformation. When your brain can't precisely recall something, it fills in the missing bits with things that are plausible. And the line between memory and imagination is just too thin to notice. Where false memory becomes a problem is with fake news, because making a memory is a whole lot easier than changing one. When an Instapage, for example, is constructed to send out fake news and sends its lie into the world, the people who see the lie are more likely to remember it than to update their memories of the lie later, despite getting new information that refutes the original lie. Our brain wants to save us time and energy. Yay, good brain! By finding things we already know or believe to be true. Our brain's helpfulness, though, isn't doing us any favors. Our life's experiences shape us to prefer to understand and believe certain things. When we get a ton of information thrown at us and it's hard to get through it all, our brain looks for things we already like, understand, and believe. It's easier for us to deal with only things we already know and like. Think of a little kid getting peas for the first time. They know and like carrots. Why should they even get near these funny smelling green balls? A piece of information can do the same thing for different people based on what each person already believes to be the truth. The algorithms, a set of rules that give an expected result, of many, if not all, social media sites, are constructed to reward confirmation bias. They want your eyeballs on their site for as long as possible, so they keep showing you stuff similar to things you've already liked. That's why cat videos rule the internet. Satisficing is a strange combination of the words satisfying and sufficing. It's what's called a portmanteau word. Sometimes, when we're busy or not really concerned with hunting down the right answer, we'll accept whatever answer is put right in front of us, satisficing us. We have been telling stories as a species since we learned how to talk about 1,000,000 years ago or so. Storytelling has a long history. For much of human history, the way the young learned which berries to eat and which would kill us and where and what to hunt and so much more was shared through stories. Remember, until quite recently in Western Europe, if you wanted to be a blacksmith or a carpenter, you went to the local tradesperson and worked with them until you were good enough to do the job on your own. Stories are great for telling around the campfire, but are simply dangerous when it comes to media literacy. Stories, though, help us understand the world around us. Media, especially platforms like TikTok, Twitter, Snap, and Insta, take complex, nuanced, hard to understand issues and turn them into nice, neat, easy to understand stories with heroes and villains. For us, the audience, we eat up these simplistic, comfortable stories like we eat ice cream on a hot summer day, even if the story isn't completely or fully true. Your brain on media likes to take shortcuts and fill in the blanks of a story any way it possibly can. Publishers, advertisers, and tech companies know how our brains work and use that knowledge to keep us on their sites. For us, it's not always easy to pick up on our own brain's thought processes. We don't do a lot of metacognitive work, which is thinking about your thinking, let alone stop and try to break our thought habits and patterns. It requires strong critical thinking skills, and as a society, sharing the responsibility of doing the work of knowing our brains and questioning the simple, easy, good versus evil stories. We need to both acknowledge our biases and thought patterns so that we can blast through both to find a fuller, more real truth. Thanks.